for both of you, what is kind of like your next venture? Like, what do you want to keep doing in terms of your own pilot work?
Right now I'm gonna focus on this airplane. Very proficient.
Yeah.
And be able to fly all by myself.
Right.
Hi guys, welcome back to my channel Excitation. This is Captain Akiko here, and we are here at Las Vegas Airport today. Beautiful weather, and today I'm with my daughter Mai.
Hello.
And on the way to go back to Van Nuys Airport, she's gonna have a bunch of questions for me, so we'll see. And hopefully not gonna have a big turbulence or anything. And let's go!
Let's go!
皆さんこんにちは、キャプテンあきこです。私のチャンネルエクサイテーションへようこそ。私たちは今ラスベガスに来ています。これからですね、ロサンゼルスの方に戻るんですけれども、多分すごくショートフライトで、タービュランスもね、乱気流もなくて、無事に帰れればいいなと思ってます。今日はね、私の娘のマイと一緒なんで、マイもね、
こんにちは。
楽しんでください。
はい。
じゃあね、
行きましょう。
Ground Station 44 Delta Tango Atlantic, ready to taxi. We have Charlie.
Citation 4 Delta Tango, runway 1 left at Bravo, line up and wait.
1 left Bravo, line up and wait, 44 Delta Tango.
Alright, clear. Right,
Okay,
1 left.
clear.
Line
Runway
up.
908, cross runway 1.
Clear to take over 1 left Bravo, 44 Delta Tango. Okay, power set. Speed alive. 70 knots, cross check. Rotate.
So there's a strip down there, pretty cool.
Oh yeah, beautiful. This is so cool.
At nighttime, it's marvelous.
We can see everything. We should do a night flight sometime. I haven't done it for a long time.
Vegas at nighttime would be a good one.
Yeah.
Number 4 Delta Tango, clear at cream.
You're Delta Cream, 44 Delta Tango.
We got it.
Yay!
Cream.
Cream donut.
Regency 937 center.
Oh, you can hear me?
Yep.
You can hear me?
Yes.
Oh. Okay, so I'll ask you guys some questions. Maybe JR can start with you.
Okay.
What do you think has been the hardest obstacle to overcome since you became a pilot?
Excellent question. Probably doing what I'm told.
Oh.
I think was probably some of the early things. Just, I was never really that good at school. So instructor would talk about something on the whiteboard, we'd go to do it, and I would have instantly forgot at the moment he told me about it.
Okay.
So I think paying attention, maybe taking some better notes, probably would have been something for me that was difficult at the beginning. But once I kind of grasped that, it was pretty helpful.
So basically, like taking what you've learned and then actually applying it in the real world sense.
Yeah, I just wasn't really good at that in the classroom setting.
Mm-hmm.
And later on, even though maybe my skill developed in that a little bit, as you move on in the training, things start to happen faster. There's more things to do. The tasks always get a little bit more complicated. So for me, I think the complexity of it was what was most difficult at the beginning. It took a while for me to get acclimated to that.
How about for you, Mommy? What was, the hardest thing that you had to overcome once you became a pilot? What was the struggle for you?
In order to become a pilot, I had to learn system. Like engine system, fuel system, hydraulic system, and something like that was so difficult for me to understand and learning. So I would say that might be it.
Then how about something that was actually surprisingly easy? that you wouldn't have thought that it would be easy?
Another excellent question. I have to think about that one. I don't feel like there was a whole lot of any of this that was easy for me.
Okay.
I had some mechanical background. I'd say perhaps the systems side of the aircraft was something that was easier. Let's say it was easy. There's a lot of things that were definitely required to take beyond the knowledge I had to understand the systems, but at least I had some foundational knowledge of electrical and mechanical things.
Oh, okay.
So I just start feeling like lately, it's a lot like all about the muscle memories. So I don't even think about.
Right.
It just move, right? So that's kind of thing that, oh, this is getting easier now. So maybe that's about it.
Like maybe, for example, with like landing, right? You remember you told me you can't even see over this dashboard very well, so you just kind of go by feeling, right?
Yeah.
But you think feels right.
Yeah.
In terms of instincts.
Huh?
Okay. And then what do both of you think is, characteristic traits of someone that you would consider to be a good pilot? Like what would a good pilot have in terms of like, I don't know, instincts or training or what have you?
I'll let the captain go first on this.
I think the best character for the, being a pilot, don't panic type of person. You can't panic anything, happens in air. You want to be calm and you want to, deal with it, right? And of course, this is a multitasking procedure, so you have to have a multitasking personality. And you listen different, frequency all the time and talking to ATC and flying at the same time. And, you have to be a real good making decision person.
Right.
Second. That's what I think.
Yeah.
What about you, JR?
Well, I think I'll compliment the first part of that with, I agree. I think you have to kind of compartmentalize or be able to compartmentalize about how you feel about something versus actually doing something about the thing that you're thinking about. Like, we think about emergency situations.
Yeah.
We practice those scenarios, but even though it's a practice environment, still there's, for me, like the engine failure, I struggled with that initially. I just couldn't get my head wrapped around the idea that the airplane was going to fly without the power being applied, or that the engine was, something above idle. So to try to compartmentalize fear or anxiety, stress, and kind of be able to put that to the side, and then still logically think about the procedures that are in place so that a safe outcome can occur. And that took a while for me to develop as well. But I agree with the multitasking.
Right.
I think another component, like a person considering training, I think you have to be real with yourself. I thought that it was going to be a lot easier to learn to fly than it was for me. And I got to several learning plateaus or barriers because I couldn't kind of get out of my own way. Once I realized that, what I'm doing isn't good enough, or what I don't really know enough about something, I have to take it to the next step, kind of challenge myself that way personally instead of letting the ego take over and waste any more time with it. So as an instructor, I've seen a lot of that on the other side too.
Yeah, so for someone, you were saying that someone who was considering to being a pilot, being realistic with their expectations, with yourself, and then, what you're willing to put into it. You said you ran into, roadblocks, so knowing how to deal with those as they come about.
I would say it's reasonable that everybody's going to have one or two learning plateaus throughout, just initial training. Mm-hmm. You can only watch so much YouTube, read so many books, watch Top Gun so many times.
Good
you think
movie,
you're going to come knock it out of the park. Well, I was one of those. I'm guilty. I'm raising my hand. But
250 on the speed.
yeah, I mean, there's just going to be some barriers you have to get through, and that's something that you kind of deal with, I think, on a one-on-one basis with your instructor.
Right.
But that kind of open honesty there is what's going to get you through that stuff quicker.
So I remember she actually talked about like chemistry with your instructor too, which also something,
super important.
Mm-hmm.
That's, between pilot and co-pilot, yes.
Something that, I mean this in a real honest and sincere way. If somebody's busy, it's probably because they're good at what they're doing. So don't necessarily trade the most convenient person time-wise for the reward out of that. So if you got a busy instructor, it's probably because he knows what he's doing. So you might want to consider that. It's not a race to the finish line in aviation. It's kind of a quality over quantity. So.
I just have one final question, and then I'll get out of your hair.
Okay.
For both of you, what is kind of like your next venture? Like, what do you want to keep doing in terms of your own pilot work?
I think that's a good question for the captain. Should go first on that one too.
Right now I'm gonna focus on this airplane. Very proficient.
Yeah.
And be able to fly all by myself. Yeah. And after that, maybe want to get commercial license and ATP in the future, and SR-71.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. That kind of thing to me.
Yep. Any more training further for you, JR?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to say that I know it all. There's always something more to learn, something to increase. I think that constantly sharpening the sword is kind of what I'm currently doing.
Mm-hmm.
I come from a little bit of an airline background, and not by my choice did I leave it, but I'm having a good time doing this. And I'm kind of getting settled into some of the mentor flying, help people learn to fly their own jets. It's pretty rewarding. I've always enjoyed being an instructor.
Yeah.
And I kind of say as long as it's burning Jet A, I'm happy at this point. So that doesn't mean that I won't fly a piston aircraft. I just kind of the way I think about it. But
well, thank you. I will let you guys get back to it then.
all right.
Okay. Thank you, Mike.
Thank you for letting me visit.
Yeah, that was good to talk about.
Yeah. I can see that being a thing.
Yeah.
Little flight deck chats with the captain. Special guests come up and get to have a little conversation, ask some questions.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
It is cool, isn't it?
Delta Tango, Roger. Approach currents in a few miles. I got southwest from the south, turning to Burbank final. Maintain 5,000.
Okay, maintain 5,000 for Delta Tango.
All right.